and we want to have session 5 now. But before we get everything started, can we bow for a word of prayer? Let's invite Madam Justina Edu, my examinations officer, to come and open the program with some short prayer. All right. We will receive some evidence from the field. We have different organizations supporting teachers and schools in early grade education. Thankfully, we have a few of them with us here who are going to be sharing what they do, who are going to be sharing their experiences also, and some evidence from the field. With one accord, may I humbly invite to the podium the presenter for Sabre Education. You want to have right to play first? Okay. All right, there's a change here. We want to have from right to play, evidence sharing from the field. Let's welcome the speaker for right to play.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm Veronica, and my colleague Harrison, the two of us will be doing the presentation. So I'll take the first part, and then Harrison will continue. So we are looking at evidence sharing from the field. The outline, we'll be looking at a brief overview of Right to Play program, and then some key issues in the education space. We'll look at our work with ECE, and then praise service. So a brief overview. Right to Play as a non-governmental organization has its offices in about 9 countries. And so Right to Play Ghana started implementing small-scale programs that address health issues, HIV, vaccination. And later, they focused on sports for development. So the program Sport for Development was building competencies of learners outside the classroom, so leveraging on sports to build the competencies of learners. Later, it expanded its operation into quality education, so moving from outside, leveraging on sports, and then supporting teachers to deliver lessons in the classroom using its pedagogy, the play-based learning pedagogy. And so Right to Play is known for its play-based learning pedagogy that they support teachers to deliver lessons. They also enhance health practices and then child protection. Gender equality is a cross-cutting issue, so in all programs, gender equality cuts across. Now, in 2015, Right to Play deepened its programs in quality education, supporting Ghana's agenda in promoting quality education. Right to Play is working in the KG, primary, and pre-service space. And so its work is not only limited to the KG, but also primary and then pre-service. Right to Play also work in the schools, communities, and then support teachers and parents or caregivers to provide the necessary support in their awards learning. And so in 2015, Right to Play started its direct implementation in 55 districts across 3 regions. So the 55 districts, the regions are Northern Region, Volta Region, and then the Greater Accra Region. In the Greater Accra Region, Right to Play is working in 21 districts. In the Northern Region, 16 districts, and then in the Volta Region, 18 districts. Now, out of these 55 districts, 9 of them, Right to Play is working directly, that is, collaborating with the Ministry of Education and Ghana Education Service to implement the play-based learning pedagogy right from national to the doorsteps of the schools. So, Right to Play collaborates with GS to support trained teachers both at the district level and then the teachers in the schools. Then, the other 46 districts are Gallop districts, where services are provided to the district officials. We have the district teacher support team. So Right to Play build the competencies of the district teacher support team to cascade the training in their district to the teachers. And what do we seek to do? To produce impacts and gather evidence on play-based learning, on learning outcomes. What are key issues that Right to Play is addressing? We have children and youth, and these are some of the issues in the education space. We have low scores in emergence and literacy. We have limited infrastructure in some early childhood development centers, since until recently that EC has really gained some attention and recognition. Child abuse, gender-based violence, and harmful practices. With teachers, we are looking at inadequate teaching methodologies in delivering the standard-based curriculum. Since the rollout of the SDC in 2019, we are looking at inadequate teaching and learning materials or resources to deliver the curriculum, poor educational infrastructure, low parental engagement, and ineffective INSET or CPD implementation. We know the schools are supposed to implement professional learning and development sessions. Then, with caregivers or parents, we have less support of parents to their children's learning, lack of awareness on child protection issues, low collaboration with teachers and school management. So the community and the school, there is a gap. So how do we implement or the approach we use to address some of these issues? With ECE, our presentation is limited to ECE, but as I've said, we work beyond ECE. We are into the KG, primary and pre-service, but for the purpose of this conference, we are limiting it to KG. So I work with KG. What we do here, we are doing same in primary. We've trained all ECE coordinators, CISOs, and KG primary teachers across our 9 districts where we are doing direct implementation. So we build the competency of these TSCs so that they can support the teachers. We have also built the capacity of ECE and primary teachers across the 46 Gallop. So 9 direct districts and then the 46 Gallop districts. We have also provided pedagogical materials and manuals to support teachers implement the curriculum. We have trained all KG teachers across the 55 districts on the KG curriculum and the development of TLRs. Also, head teachers have been provided coaching and mentoring support so that they can equally mentor and coach their KG teachers. We've collaborated with Sabre, UNICEF, Lively Minds, IPA to develop a KG insects that has received approval from the Ghana Education Service ECE units and is being considered for scale. So this manual is going to be the insert package for KG that every KG practitioner will have to use. Beyond that, we are also developing coaching framework, coaching and mentoring framework to support the implementation of the KG insert, and it is in process. We have also developed a compendium of play-based lessons to support the implementation of PPL and then the delivery of the curriculum. And so this compendium, when we have sessions with teachers, they develop their own learner plans, and those that are playful, we collect them and we have put them into a compendium and share with them for them to use. So it's from the teachers themselves. Right, so our KG Rich. For teachers in our direct implementation areas, we'll be able to train 42 male teachers and 38 female teachers, totaling 280. For our indirects, so it means where we are implementing, when we say a direct district, in the districts, we have some schools that we work and we go to the schools in collaboration with the GS officials. We have some schools, only the GS officials will support. We provide the training. So those are termed as indirect schools. So for the indirect, it means once we have supported the district to train the direct, the district alone does the training for the indirect. We provide them with the necessary tools. They'll be able to train 32 male, 184 females, and then totaling 216. For the Gallop are the indirect districts. 740 KG teachers have been trained, males. 2,962 female KG teachers have been trained across the three regions, totaling 3,702. For head teachers have also received training, direct 119 male, female 21, totaling 140. Indirects, we have 92, 16, 108. For Gallop, we have 1,395. Female, 556, totaling the number there. Then district education officials too have been rich supported, and that is the total. So I work with pre-service. What have we been doing with pre-service? Right to Play has an MOU with the University of Education, and based on the MOU, lecturers from the Faculty of Education, the then Faculty of Education, has been trained on the play-based learning, and it has been integrated into existing course outlines in 5 departments in the education faculty, the then education faculty. Now, I think we have 2 faculties, right? So, also, they've been supported to develop a manual that integrates play-based learning. This manual is an extension of their own BEd curriculum. So TTEL supported the colleges and then the university to develop their manuals for delivery. So we leveraged on that manual and then integrated the play in the same manual. Then we have initiated the establishment of Center of Excellence. We hope to establish a Center of Excellence at UU. Principals and tutors from partner colleges have also been trained. We have supported the partner schools of the colleges to also train the teachers and then the heads where the student teachers go for mentorship. And then we have also provided resources for such schools, totaling 65. And we have also supported the University of Education to conduct a research into the integration of play-based learning in pre-service. And so, key findings of the research, my colleague who is a male officer can do that better. So, Harrison.
Yeah, thank you very much, Vero. And so, for Right to Play, in order to understand what really goes within the pre-service space, somewhere around last year, we contracted some lecturers from the UEW, especially from the Faculty of Education, to conduct a research into the integration of play-based learning in content and pedagogy of teacher education in Ghana. And I would like to share some few findings from this particular study with you. First, on the research objectives, the objective was more to ascertain lecturers, tutors, and pre-service teachers' knowledge and perception about play-based learning, and to gather evidence on the integration of play-based learning into content of curricula and instruction delivery of the department in Faculty of Education Studies and College of Education, which have partnership or collaboration with Right to Play. Thirdly, to identify the categories of lecturers and tutors who are more inclined to the application of PBL in teaching and learning, and to further explore reasons accounting for the willingness of those lecturers and tutors. And lastly, to find out pre-service teacher competence in the use of play-based learning during on-campus and off-campus teaching practice. How are they prepared and how are they ready to deliver? And to add that this particular research was conducted by one of your own, Professor Hayford and Professor Dandy. They were the principal investigators into this particular study. Now, let's look at the target population. The target population were basically lecturers in the Department of Basic Education and Early Childhood Education, Faculty of Education Studies at UEW. We also had level 300 pre-service teachers in the Department of Basic Education and Early Childhood Education, tutors of the 13 colleges of education who have had training from Right to Play on PBL, and we also had level 300 pre-service teachers of the 13 out of the 15 colleges that we are currently working with. Now, let's look at some of the key findings. And these were more or less, yesterday some discussions started, and it is good that I'm sharing some of these findings from the study with you. In terms of practice, the findings reveal that tutors in the colleges are likely to use PBL throughout their lectures as compared to lecturers at the university. And for us, this is not a surprise because of the work that Right to Play is doing with the colleges of education, as eloquently posited by Vero, for example. We've trained most of the tutors from the colleges of education, about 150, who in their respective colleges of education have also trained their counterpart. Their counterpart has also trained the student teachers, and the student teachers are even training teachers from the partner schools. Currently, we are working with 65 partner schools. So we are not surprised that from the study revealed that most of the tutors from the colleges of education are likely to, embrace, use the PBL in the delivery of their lessons. The other one has to, lecturers, tutors, and pre-service teachers have perceived notion that large classes hinder the use of PBL in teaching and learning sessions. These are some of the issues that are coming from the study. Even in the primary and the KG that we are working, most of the teachers during our normal, outcome harvesting has really pointed out to, some of the barriers in terms of the implementation we have to do with large class sizes. We also had misconceptions such as PBL is teacher dominated, not applicable to many subjects, difficult to apply in large classes, and it is time consuming. And these are some of the things in our intervention implementation we are trying to work to address. Lack of teaching and learning materials and resources has been identified as some of the barriers to the smooth implementation of the play-based learning in the lesson delivery. Then we have lecturers, tutors, and pre-service teachers had a perceived notion that those who handle or teach multiple courses to multiple classes cannot apply play-based learning. So as we deliberate, as we do the knowledge sharing, these are some of the things that should inform our discussion. How do we work to make sure that we overcome some of these challenges? The impact of inappropriate furniture on the general well-being of learners cannot be overemphasized. So in the KG, for example, when we are working in Right to Play has identified that one of the challenges has to do with furniture. And in some of the locations, we are trying to purchase furniture and provide it for these KG learners. Then, lastly, in order to ensure sustainability, the study revealed that the use of supported teaching in schools, on campus and off campus, are strategies for exposing pre-service teachers to the application of play-based learning. Can you go on? So these are our partners that we are working with, and we want to thank, Sabre especially for providing this platform for Right to Play to also contribute to the discussion over here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Right to Play, for sharing this with us. Thank you for that scientific information shared with us here. As the presenters do what they can do best, we want to encourage every one of us to be jotting down things that you may be seeking clarifications on, so that when we are done at the plenary session, we can share our views or ask for clarifications. Thank you. We also want to mention that every presenter will have 15 minutes to present the information. Before we proceed to call the next presenter, we want to use this opportunity to acknowledge the presence of one personality that has joined us today. We shall be doing this from time to time, but this moment, humbly, may I, on your behalf and the behalf of the organizers of this program, welcome to this program the Director for Tertiary Education from the Ministry of Education. Welcome, Director. We are grateful for your presence. Let's take the next presentation from Associate for Change. Associate for Change. Let's welcome them.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Hi, my name is Dr. Leslie Casely-Hayford. I'm happy to join you this morning with Jennifer Kweko, who's our senior researcher for this project. This is an IDRC-funded project in Ghana for the last 3 years across Sierra Leone and Ghana. And we are very happy to have partnered with Right to Play and Sabre Foundation on this project. This project has been working on looking at early childhood innovations in West Africa to help cost effectiveness of governments to scale up teacher training. And it's working in Sierra Leone and Ghana. There's 2 different innovations that are working, and I think Right to Play has very nicely summarized some of the work it's doing. Sabre Foundation, as you know, is building teacher capacity in service, pre-service at school and teacher training college level. So I'm going to be presenting just a little bit on the methodology, and then Jennifer is going to cover the findings, and then I'll come back to talk about the conclusions. Great. So basically, the country context. Ghana has really invested in early childhood education, not to the level in which we can say it's fully reached a quality level of minimum standards in early childhood. As you heard from Harrison from Right to Play, there's a lot to be done in terms of investment. But there is quite a bit of inequality within the early childhood education sector between northern and southern Ghana. And that's similar to the primary sector as well, where we see the intake as about 42% of enrollment in the lower primary sector in northern Ghana, as compared to about 85% and 85% in the southern central regions. So what we see is a level of inequality due to access issues. Often there's not enough teachers in these areas in northern Ghana, in the rural zone. And in comparison to the southern zone, where we have several early childhood educators in the southern zone. I don't even want to mention Sierra Leone, because Sierra Leone is yet to fully invest in early childhood education. Their access rates are less than 30% throughout the country for early childhood. Our team was made up of researchers from the University of Cape Coast, Winneba, Associates for Change in Ghana. ISER was also one of the lead researchers on the program. We were conducting the qualitative studies. The University of Sierra Leone was conducting as well in Sierra Leone the studies there. The main objective of this research was to look at how we can build teacher capacity in early learning with a focus on play-based methodologies. So the innovations we were looking at were both pre-service and in-service. We came to some of your colleges, SDA, Presby Women, and in the northern region we went to several of the colleges of education in the Upper East and northern regions. We wanted to generate evidence that would support governments to invest in and integrate play-based methodologies. Some of our research questions were related to what innovations does PBL have to support teacher capacity building to implement play-based learning, and what is the added value that NGOs and civil society organizations like Sabre add to the playing field. The methodology was that we worked in about 48 schools across the country. We had a comparative study between intervention and non-intervention, and more importantly, it was retrospective. So we were looking at the integration of play-based learning 4 or 5 years ago in terms of its work. Sabre had integrated it in the eastern region and central region, and Right to Play had been working in the northern regions for the last 5 years or more. So we were looking at the impact that those innovations were having in those areas. We went to colleges, we went to primary and early childhood education centers. We interviewed KG teachers. We ran a survey across more than 64 schools in the country, and we looked at integrating the parents and other key stakeholders in our interviews. Here are some of the key colleges: Commenda, SDA, Presby Women's, Baga Baga, Tamale, and John Bosco. The innovations have been working, as I mentioned, for the last 4 or 5 years. And just to mention one last thing, these are some of the instrumentations we used for head teachers and KG teachers. And at the district level, we ran interviews as well across about 6 or 7 of the key districts that we had focus on. I just want to say one thing before we get into the findings. There are several interventions working in these areas: USA Learning, Jolly Phonics, TTEL, as well as Right to Play and Sabre. So we can't just say that the interventions we're working with have only been because of the interventions for Sabre and Right to Play. We also have to look holistically at what's going on at early childhood education levels using these other large-scale interventions. And that's over to you. Okay. I think, Jeff. Thanks.
So this is going to be the key findings on the impact of the innovations that we looked at. So the overall findings, one of the most important things for the head teachers were they had a deeper knowledge about the outcome of play-based in order to support their teachers to implement that. And then the teachers were also better resourced as compared to non-intervention schools. And in terms of their lesson delivery, it was better as compared to non-intervention schools. And another finding was teachers had a good understanding of the importance of creating their own TLMs in order to implement the play-based learning methodologies in their classrooms. And we also had TLMs being displayed and actually being used in the classrooms. And children were more curious, more confident in their interactions during the lessons. Now, we have information on the availability of classrooms. We know that it's woefully inadequate in most rural and extremely deprived areas. So KGs get the shorter end of the stick. For instance, when we went to quite a remote area in the Yilo Krobo district, the KG learners were under a kind of hut kind of structure, and then it had broken down, so the head teacher had to move the KG learners into the P6 classrooms because some of them even got hurt. So that is something to note about the availability of classrooms for the early grade levels. We also looked at teachers' knowledge on subject content and then the strategies they use for lesson deliveries. So teachers their techniques for play-based learning were quite visible. In terms of the storytelling, the songs that they used, they also did a lot of pair work, teamwork within the learners. And in the non-intervention district, we realized that a lot of the teachers, especially at the P1 and P2 level, were focused more on a lecture kind of method as compared to their counterparts in the intervention schools. And also in non-intervention schools too, there was some play-based methodology, but it was limited in the non-intervention school. But it was interesting to know that there was no form of corporal punishment in any of the schools that we visited. Now, in terms of teachers' use of TLMs across the different areas, in the northern region, we realized that in the intervention schools, 83% had good use of TLMs as compared to the non-intervention schools, where 47% of the teachers were using TLMs. This is not quite a distinct difference, but it shows that still those in the intervention schools were performing better on that indicator. In the eastern region too as well, we had 77.4% of teachers using TLMs in their lesson deliveries as compared to their counterpart in non-intervention schools. Now, one interesting finding we got out of this study was gender sensitivity. We realized that with the introduction of this play-based methods, the teachers had become quite sensitive to inclusion and then into gender issues. So if you went to the KG classrooms and then the learning centers, teachers were not differentiating as to whether boys and girls should go to a particular center or not. When you went to the P1 and P2 classrooms, both boys and girls had the chores shared out, so everyone was cleaning the blackboard. No discrimination was given in terms of which chore was supposed to be done or which activity was supposed to be done by the boys or girls. And it was highlighted that they had received gender social inclusion training from the innovation. So this is something that really helped in their lesson deliveries and in their classroom organization. Also, there was some sort of sensitivity to the learning needs of children with special learning issues. So we can see it here that in the northern region, teachers were quite sensitive to the learning needs of those with special learning issues, and then same too as well in the eastern region. In the eastern region, 35.7 teachers were rated as excellent in doing that, so it shows that there's still more work to be done in that area. Now, on the language of instruction, in the eastern region, we could see that 61% of teachers were rated as excellent because they used a lot of the local language, especially at the KG level, but it was both. They started with the local language, they introduced the English language, so the children's communication skills picked up quite quickly. Pupil participation too, you can see that the excellence rating, which is the blue one, in the intervention district in the eastern region is quite high, and in the northern region it was satisfactory, was a large number of the pupils' participation in the northern intervention schools. Now, on the learners, the actual impact on the learners. So children in the intervention schools were introduced to both traditional and new songs, poems, and rhymes as compared to their counterparts in the non-intervention schools. They knew some songs and rhymes, but the teachers were not going out of their scope to introduce any new kind of these techniques. Confidence levels, children took initiative in the intervention schools, participated, asked questions, were more curious as compared to their counterparts in the non-intervention schools. Now we look at the difference in the command of language and play activities. Because the learners in the intervention schools had both language of instructions, they had a higher degree of mastery over the play-based songs and poems that they were used, and their communication too was quite higher as compared to their counterparts in the non-intervention schools who were focused mostly on the local language. There was not a good switch between the two languages. So that was something to look at. The value addition, we can see that the education innovators are giving training and coaching to teachers and head teachers to create TLRs. Then the gender-sensitive approach too was something that was quite standout amongst both of the schools. And also linking their the innovations to the content of the MOE standard-based curriculum was also quite reinforced in the schools that we looked at. So the challenges, this cut across both intervention and non-intervention. The first thing is the maintenance culture. There was play-based materials, but they mentioned that there was lack of maintenance and repairs of these materials, and also teacher mindset and disposition. They knew that they had to use the play-based, but they mentioned that the preparation of the lesson was quite long when they introduced the play-based methodologies into it. And also the large class size, which has been mentioned quite a few times. So we can see the difference. This is a non-intervention school in Yendi, and then this is an intervention school in Kumbungu. The classroom, these are both KG classrooms, and this is how it looked like on the field. Now, we also went to the College of Education levels. We have a lot to talk about, but we are going to mention the most important things. So we saw that not all teachers train the student teachers on play-based learning. They did mention that they have good positive perceptions about it, but they were not fully incorporating it. This was mainly due to them. They mentioned that some topics pose a challenge when they have to introduce play-based approaches to teach it. They cannot really use the play-based to introduce those topics. So in those places, they default. So these are some of the quotes that they mentioned on that. And then another thing we looked at is why are teacher trainees pursuing or not pursuing early childhood education? So there was the obvious stigma and misconceptions around early childhood education that the trainee teachers mentioned, lack of proficiency in the local languages to actually use the choose early childhood education, lack of the passion to even work with children, and also some of the trainees mentioned that they were there, but they wouldn't even like to be placed in the classroom after they complete. They would want to be placed as tutors, or they want to go straight into being lecturers of ECE at the tertiary level. But then for some teachers, there was a change in perception, especially the male trainee teachers. They mentioned that they didn't choose the early childhood education course, but after being there for a while, this misconception has been changed because of some of their tutors and what they are doing. Some female trainees also shared the same issues, but there was a higher apprehension amongst the male trainees. So you can see some of the quotations from them mentioning these issues. And we also looked at what goes into the teacher placement of early childhood teachers. So at the pre-service level, the College of Education level, they mentioned that the GES should look at the actual qualifications before recruiting new personnel into the different spaces, ensuring that the right teachers are placed at the right levels. And also from the in-service, they mentioned that the GES should actually ask about the vacancies before posting the teachers, because some head teachers mentioned that they had made mention of what they needed, but they were brought the wrong teachers, and so they had to make do with those teachers. So we look at the conclusion.
Thanks, Ella. Thanks again. So just to wrap up on this, we think that the innovators are providing support in a fairly strong manner in terms of the impact on quality education, and that there has definitely been a spread on standard-based curriculum and sensitivity towards gender and inclusivity because of this added value. The findings in the qualitative also looked and found that teachers have a better knowledge of play-based methodologies and are able to apply this in their classrooms. Teachers preferred and enjoyed using those play-based methods once they were introduced to them. The lessons for both Sierra Leone and Ghana are that we can scale play-based methodologies. A lot of the work that Sabre and Right to Play have done has to provide toolkits to these governments. And it's happy to announce to you that in Sierra Leone, the ministry through GPE is scaling up the Right to Play toolkits as well as the GP support to it in Sierra Leone. So there will be much more play-based methodologies going into the pre-service and in-service training colleges. I think the most important step for Ghana is for Sabre and Right to Play and GES to collaborate on the TPD platform that NTC uses. The National Teaching Council has a digital platform, as you know, that awards points for teachers to go onto that platform and learn. Now, it's not to say only digital technology is the way forward, but it certainly reduces the cost so that we can have a good hybrid approach to introducing play-based methodologies. And this would allow for the NTC to scale it up to all of its teachers across the country if the content is integrated into the TPD sector in Ghana. We've also mentioned that there needs to be a real consultation at this conference about how to improve play-based methodologies at the training college and university level, where tutors, if they don't know how to practicalize those PBL approaches, should bring in assistant teachers and others to support them. If you haven't demonstrated a knowledge of PBL yourself in a Montessori or early childhood center, you can find coaches and mentors to come in and support you during those demonstration lessons. But it has to be practicalized. And I know that Sabre and others are trying to do that. So we've talked about the NTC. We've also mentioned the need for community ECE teachers. There's a growing evidence base that we need parents on board, The ECE teachers alone cannot do this with 60 or 70 or 80 children in one KG classroom. We have to have parents that can support them, mothers coming in to support them. AFC is about to do a research with a Ugandan model from Uganda, Kenya, that is working to help revolving loan funds go into communities where parents are supporting KG education. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Gordon. Thank you.
Let's give it up to them again. Thank you very much, Dr. Leslie, is that the name? Thank you. And the team. Okay, I want to believe we are noting down the points for clarification, maybe additions or whatever. May I also recognize some few people again. We have in our midst a rep from NACA. NACA is fully represented here yesterday and today. Thank you for coming, NACA. Thank you. We have also the HOD for special education also here. HOD, welcome. We have the HOD for counseling psychology also represented. She's here in person. HOD, welcome. Thank you for coming. We have the regional ECE coordinator, Central Region, also here. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming. She was here since yesterday and still with us. Thank you for your presence. We have TTEL rep. We have a delegation representing TTEL in this program. TTEL, you are highly welcome. You are here since yesterday. We have someone here representing the pre-tertiary, the Director for Pre-Tertiary Education from the Ministry of Education. And that person is the Principal ECE Officer of the Ministry of Education. If you are here, thank you very much for coming, Sir Ataba. Thank you. We'll continue with the presentations. For the next 15 minutes, let us welcome to the podium the rep for Sabre Education to give us their field report.
Good morning. So I'll be presenting Sabre Education. So we're looking at assessing the effectiveness of Sabre's model practice classroom program in enhancing SDS experiences in the colleges. For introduction, for content, this is how the flow is. I'm going to have an introduction followed by objectives of the study that we did, then the methodology, findings, and then lesson. I'll spend quite less time talking about Sabre Education, which is, I think we know quite a lot about Sabre Education. I'll skip the introduction. But just to say that Sabre doesn't only do in-service training, we support colleges and universities also in pre-service. In 2022 academic year, we actually worked with SDA College and PwC to create what we call model practice classroom, identified schools that the colleges send their student teachers to as classroom for areas where the student teachers can experience better or improved support when it comes to SCS. In the 2022 academic year, we actually worked with 49 of such schools within the district that we operate in. And this is the Kwapem North, Kwapem South, and New Jabin North. These are where all the 49 schools are located. In total, in the 2022 academic year, we trained 248 KG teachers as mentors to mentor student teachers who are either on observation or on the mentorship program. In 2023, we partnered with the University of Education to also equip 82 kindergarten teachers here in Efutu. And the idea is that through the partnership, student teachers who go on observation and mentorship will also have improved learning experiences and also have some practical experience. With this in mind, we set out internally to try to understand what has been the effect of this on student teachers as they go on this STS across in the schools. So we try to assess the relevance and effect of the MPC, what we call the Model Practice Classroom Program, on mentors and the mentees. We try to identify and document best practices within the mentorship program and also make some evidence-based recommendations. It's purely a qualitative study. I'll skip this side. Purely qualitative and mainly in-depth interviews and key informant interviews. I'll just move to this table about examples. At the school level, we looked at, the idea was that we wanted to see where have the mentees who recently finished their mentorship program, where were they placed? So in identifying all across here in the Efutu, about 26 schools, we identified about 7 schools that had mentees in the KG department of the schools where they were placed. So we identified some schools, 7 schools, and then we did 5 in Ekuapem North and Ekuapem South, and also 5 in Udabe North, Udabe South. That's how you have the 17 schools. We also were able to speak with 19 mentors who are the KG teachers themselves, 19 of them. We spoke with 25 mentees made up of 10 level 200 and 300 student teachers, and then 17 head teachers as lead mentors. At the GS level, we spoke with 4 EC coordinators and then 5 training officers across these districts. At the university level, we spoke with College of Education, that the SDA, UEW.TV, and 1 university, 3 SDS coordinators, and 1 is the head of department. So these are like the people that we sampled for the study, and we actually did it this year, between February and March this year. What are some of the observations of what we found? Now, we've tried to look at the relevance of all this model practice classroom experience to STS. And we realized that, speaking with the key participants at the GES, the tutors, and then also the lecturers, the GES officers, there seems to be a common understanding that this approach of getting student teachers to have experience in the classroom seems to be quite aligned with what is expected of teacher training in Ghana. So there seems to be some more alignment. Whilst 40% said it's completely aligned, we seem to have about alignment of 50-50 alignment, but then moderately aligned, quite the GA, 10% said it's moderately aligned, but I think even for the tutors, 50 of them said it was moderately aligned. I think there is some understanding of whether this is a standalone project or this is something that the students are expected to, whether they are expected to go into such classrooms as specially trained mentors to be able to give them, or they can go to any school to be mentored, to say that. So, for a quote from one of the GS said that the MPCSTS approach is aligned to the educational policies and goals. It actually resonates well with the efforts to improve the quality of teaching and learning for the teachers themselves, and then also for the student teachers in their professional development. And what are some of the experiences of mentees who are on the program? Now, we saw that 3 highlights that came around was that there were positive learning experiences of these mentees. Some of them said that the ACS program has been invaluable in honing in their teaching system, preparing them for the classroom. One of the people that I spoke with said that, look, previously when they had on-campus teaching, anytime she was called upon, she started shivering. But having gone into this classroom for this period, then it provides that level of confidence that she is able to, she can do it. So it gives that positive learning experience that it is not as difficult as it seems to be, but even practically it is possible. Then the confidence boost, as I talked about, then improve teaching skills and methodology. Some of them said, indeed, they've learned some of the things in the classrooms, theory, all right, but when it comes to practically doing it, it becomes a challenge. So being with the mentors and getting that support from the mentors actually help them to improve their teaching skills and the methodology, how to deliver actually in the classroom environment. So these are the experience of the mentees themselves. Now let's look at experience of the mentors. So the mentors rated their experience as very good. In fact, they said there is high satisfaction amongst them because they feel like they are much more empowered to deliver or to support the mentees in the STS program. Previously, some of them said before being given the training, some of the mentees come and there seems to be confusion as to what the mentees have brought from the colleges and what they are also imparting, because there seems to be some variance. But now they are confident because they know what they are delivering is what is required from the curriculum. So they are in a better place to be able to equip or support the mentors, the mentees in that one. And there is also significant improvement in the teachers' own teaching practices. The more you do, the more you know. And as you begin to impart knowledge, as you begin to support other teachers to improve, you also get better at it. You reflect, and it also helps you to improve. And role in guiding and mentoring the next generation of teachers. They see themselves as playing a significant role in grooming the next generation of teachers, which I think is a fulfilling aspect of what they think they're doing, which I think is a very good experience to share. And what are some of the challenges that they talk about? There are a number of them. One that stand out is the poor attitude of mentees. The poor attitude of mentees. I think some of them talk about the fact that the dress code and other stuff, sometimes you engage them, it's difficult for them to understand why you are not supposed to maybe put certain attires, come to class with certain attires. And then they also identify the lack of preparedness and understanding of it. They said some of the mentees come, although they sit through like orientation and all of that, some of them still come unprepared. It takes them to they are in the classroom, and sometimes it's asked to maybe support this and support that, and it becomes like an issue for them. They don't seem to be prepared for the task or the reason why they are, but maybe as part of the course requirements, that is why they are in the classroom. One of the mentors said, one of the challenges we face is the lack of seriousness and cooperation among some mentees. Some of them don't really cooperate. Maybe sometimes there are some tasks and TLRs to be prepared, and there's a guide for the teachers to support to do it, and it becomes something like a tussle. I don't think I'm able to do it and all of that. It creates some issues for them. Then for the mentees, we are looking at logistical constraints. For the mentees on the program, one of the key logistical constraints is accommodation and then transport. If they are unable to get accommodation closer to the school, then they would have to then take money, do transport in and out, and that is a challenge for them because they are unable to fare their transportation in and out of the schools on a regular basis. One of the challenges they have is that. And some of them also choose schools that may not necessarily be able to have the required experience to support, but for the fact that they don't have accommodation, they are unable to select those schools that will help them. An alignment on theoretical knowledge and practical experience. I think when we went for the school visit the last time, a lot has been said. Some of the things that they learn theoretically, practically in the classroom, they seem to be different. A classic example is the lesson note preparation. The lesson notes that they are exposed to, the mentees are exposed to in the colleges, and when they come to the classrooms, it seems to be different. And this creates confusion because some of the mentees are quite adamant because they may be, if they go and produce this at the college, they may be marked down. So they are unwilling to give up what they know, and the mentors are also insisting it must be so because that is what is required. So there's some bit of misalignment on theoretical knowledge and experience and practicality on the ground. Financial constraints, I've talked about that. The being able to cater for their daily needs, because They are not fully fledged teachers, they are not paid, but they are required to function or spend money in and out of school every day, which is one of the challenges we've had. So some of them decide to stay in their areas and choose schools, private schools, public schools, whichever that makes it convenient for them. And therefore, they may not get the best out of the experience that they are supposed to get. What are some of the recommendations? We believe that there should be continuous ongoing support and training for mentors to be able to continue to equip student teachers, bring out the best out of them, and fostering collaborative relationships. It is important to have open channels of communication between the mentors and the mentees. I believe that when they go to the classrooms, there's always a situation where they have dialogue to understand your role, my role, what we are supposed to do, how we're going to help ourselves. One, there's that openness and an open channel of communication called collaborative partnership or relationship. There's complementarity in efforts, and that helps to bring the best out of both the mentor and then the mentees. And then addressing logistical challenges. Obviously, I've talked about the accommodation part, financial part. I don't know how this, but it's one of the challenges that we brought up. Logistics and accommodation key. Even also some of the teachers talk about the TLRs as they are worn out, replacing them to support the mentees to know or to help them to bring out the best out of them is also one of the challenges we talked about. And then a continuous feedback and communication. Having that reflective feedback approach within the mentorship program, either on weekly basis, bi-weekly or monthly, helps to create that culture of in the training we are told to have this reflect, connect, and apply. So you reflect on your teaching methodology, you connect to some of the things that are around you, and then you begin to apply. So what did you learn? How can you do it better? What could you have done better, and all of that? Once able to have that culture of reflection amongst the mentor and the mentees, it helps to improve upon and breaks that kind of miscommunication amongst and bring out the best of this mentorship program. So these are the I would say brief findings we have and the recommendations we have from the study. The full report will be ready, available, and shared with the university in due course. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sabre Education. I think I have to raise the microphone.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes. Because of my height, I think I have to raise the microphone. Thank you so much, Sabre Education. We are grateful. Yes, so we would like once again to acknowledge the presence of Dr. Mrs. Teresa Entry, Director, UEW Counseling Services. Doc, thank you so much for coming. So I will invite my colleague to continue from here. Thank you. So let me bring it down for you. All right, thank you. At this point, we want to pick suggestions, questions, inputs, whatsoever from the three presenters. They have shared their work of research and reports from the field with us. Are there some concerns? Okay, Director. So the presenters and the team should be listening to the questions or concerns, then we'll direct them appropriately for response.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I didn't come with this today. I'm happy to be here. Because of that, I want to talk so that you hear my voice. Those are very interesting studies that have been presented. Coming from a science background, I'd like to do a disclaimer first. The fact that the two figures are different, they may not be significantly different. So in future studies, please add a little bit of quantitativeness to it. It makes us understand it much more better. The second point I would like to make is about the design of the stairs. The design of the stairs. Is it that we went and the most beautiful looking lady you interviewed, or the most handsome guy you interviewed? There should be a structure for the data collection. Was it focus group? How did you choose? What was the population size from which you chose to do your studies? So if you have a population of 1,000 and you targeted only 10 or 4 classrooms and you interview or you work with them, your findings may or may not be as representative as you make us believe. And then, this is early childhood education. For me, I found the presentation so dull and boring. The slides were full of text. Sitting even in the front row, I couldn't read most of the text. I'm forced to read. Early childhood education. Are we doing early childhood education here, right to play? Sisimbo Tabumbo is here. Black sheep that we were able to what? Count what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You see, so in so doing, you get us involved. I like inquiry direct teaching. I like engagement teaching. Even at the university level, I engage audience. So if we are early childhood educated and we are presenting at an early childhood conference and we are not engaging the children like that, I'm a baby. I'm a baby in this subject. Then you have not communicated to me. I hope you take it into paper. Yeah. So, how did you select your district? How did you select your town? What drove you there? Those sort of all that design, are very important. This, for most of them, will be brought to me, is for publication, not for but you might have wonderful results. For me, then the conclusions might not have been well drawn out or well thought out from the state. So I'll question everything with my layman lens. So let's do work on these things. Coming from the Ministry of Education, there is the current minister, Dr. Zeya, moving towards a lot of transformation in the sector. We brought in this colleges of education doing 4-year degree so that they might help to teach even at the lower level. But we noted it's not working. But people get trained and then they want to go higher. Play-Doh is not even available in the school. So let's work at providing the logistics and all that. And computer, smart schools. That's what we face at the senior high school. So let's try the GES, the whatever officers that are here. Let's try start teaching from the age. And now what the ministry is doing is to try to put them into cluster of schools. Because we can't provide logistics to every DA school, every Anglican school, every Methodist school, every public school. So we're working towards clustering the school. Because you go to one school and there are only 5 or one classroom, there are only 5 or 6 students. Then another classroom, there are about 60 and all that. So we need to provide logistics. We can't provide logistics at every place. So we're trying to cluster them so that facilities will be at one particular school in a particular circuit, and then they can go there and use these facilities. I dropped my case, I'll come again.
Thank you very much, Director. That's good. But you raised some concern that the new 4-year policy was targeting at ensuring that the teachers who are trained would have remained at the basic levels to all the levels wherever they find themselves to teach. But unfortunately, they still want to move further. Maybe a little enhancement of remuneration and maybe condition of service at that lower level would have been keeping them at a place. That's my suggestion or my view, though. So maybe at the ministry, you may be looking at something like that. Else, definitely, they want to go for Pedawata school and move from Pedawata to schools. Thank you. Sure. Yes, sir. Maybe we take 3 more, then we go to the next item.
As I said, listening to the presentations, I still cannot find a solution that the institutions are giving to us with regards to the problem we normally raise on how, for instance, the play-based methodology can be, used for large class sizes. I think we have on several occasions raised this concern, and then I was expecting to see something here to help me get back to my college and share with my colleagues about how to manage large class sizes with the use of this well-thought pedagogy that we have been using.
Okay. If I should react to that quickly, to save time, you can't give what you don't have. You can only give what you have. These are studies conducted on the field, and the practices on the field is what they can only share. So, as intellectuals and practitioners in this room, we'll be breaking, at the latter part, we'll be breaking into groups to put our thoughts and these things together. If you have a way of addressing those challenges, we'll be happy to have them. Large class or classrooms that have fixed chairs or furniture. How do we implement the play-based pedagogy? At the lower level, you won't have that challenge. But in the teacher training institutions, where we are to groom the teachers to go and deliver these things, that is where that challenge you're talking about is found. But even the basic schools, to some of them, the large class challenge is there. So if anyone here or group of people have solutions or suggestions to address that, we'll be happy to have them from you. But as for the studies, the findings they have found on the field, this is the only thing they can share. Thank you. Yes, let's have. Maybe we'll come to you the last.
So, thank you. This goes to the first presenter. If you can raise your hand. First presenter. Okay, so, I mean, we realized from your findings that we lack TLRs. So I just want you to have some clarification for us. I mean, teacher learner resources. We lack. The moment you say we are lacking, it means that we don't have anything. Does it mean that even teachers don't have even books to teach in the class? I mean, is it inadequate or lack? Please do clarify that for us. Thank you.
So I want to address the question relating to the retention of teachers at the level where they are posted to. I am from the National Okay, so when it comes to the posting and recruitment of teachers, the council has a policy for licensing of teachers, and that policy is guided by the education report. That was initially propagated by the 2012 Calendar Education Act. So currently from 2018, what we started doing was the licensing of teachers. In 2018 was the year we started the maiden licensure exams. After 2018, there have been a series of reforms targeted at making sure teachers are posted or teachers are licensed in areas of their specialization. And last year was when we started the subject-based licensure exams. You know, for posting, for recruitment of teachers, what GS does is to rely on data from the National Teaching Council. So once you've written the licensure exams and you have passed out successfully, that data is given to the Ghana Education Service, and they rely on that data for posting. So what I want to say is that for you to be given a license now currently, based on the subject-based licensure exams, you have to specialize in a subject area. And you are granted the license in that specialization. So if my license calls out that I need to be posted or I'm well versed in maybe primary education or early grade or early childhood or have teachers education, and you are given license in that area of specialization, there's no way GS is going to post you to another. So this is how we are addressing that when it comes to the National Teaching Council and the license.
I think you have addressed one big issue. I pray that it works as you have just told us, because it's a big concern across the country. Placement issues. Okay, maybe we want to take the last one from the director. Yes.
Hello. Yeah. So just a few comments to what has been said. I think sometimes we are unfair to presenters. Presenters have taken time to spend months and days and years to do something, and they are given 15 minutes to present. Of course, what you hear are just summaries. So let's take it in that spirit. These are summaries, they can't cover everything in detail. So I think presenters, please, we understand you. Okay. Director, I know you talk that you are from a science background. So I understand that I'm more from a qualitative background. And I know there's always this issue about qualitative, and now this thing is mixed method. Exactly. Because I have done qualitative studies which have been very impactful. We did one on poverty, which now gave, even now UN is saying that poverty is a multi-dimensional phenomenon. It's no longer just an issue of cash and so on. So there is a place I want scientists to also bear in mind that sometimes we need to hear the voices of people. Okay, let them say their feelings, which sometimes the scientific method cannot capture. That's why we still have people who believe very much in religion, and there are people who believe in science. So, exactly. So let's be getting more for mixed method. Exactly. So I just want to, again, say that we can come divided on this. And then on this issue of large class listening, again, the training that I know Sabre Right to Play give, one of the strategies they give is how to manage large classrooms. Yeah. Again, this is not a place where they can come and say that, okay, because it's part of the training. The strategies they give teachers as to how to manage large classrooms. But again, I think so that we come to sessions with different of, what do you call it, expectations. So these are findings of what teachers are practicing, what is going on the ground. So I'm sure if you want to know how you can train your teachers or this is on how to manage classrooms with large classrooms and so on, please, there are people here who can support you. The Sabre technical team can give you materials and some sessions on that. My last lesson is to the university and STS, to the university and the colleges. When students are going out, do you give them a guide? Is there something to guide them as to what to look for, what questions to ask, and so on? And then to Sabre and Right to Play, who are doing this coaching and mentoring, is there a guide for the mentors to be able to let them know how to give feedback and so on? Thank you.
All right. On the issue of as to whether students are given some guides before they go out, the response is yes. We have a school placement handbook that was produced by GES, but through TTEL, the support of TTEL, to all colleges and the universities providing teacher education. Before they go out for STS, year 1, year 2, year 3, up to year 4, we have all the handbooks that is providing guide on what exactly they should do and what they should look out for at every point in time. Thank you. Now we want to, for the want of time, we want to shift to the next item, or maybe a little concern here. Briefly. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm particularly happy about the studies in the area of using play-based pedagogy in the classroom. This is because, coming from NACA, the key methodology that we propose is play-based, participatory and play-based pedagogy. And maybe what I was expecting to see, in addition to what they presented, is the teachers' knowledge, understanding of the curriculum. How are they interpreting the curriculum? Because moving around selected schools, the general impression is that some have a difficulty interpreting the curriculum. For instance, they pick a standard. What are the soft skills that they need to develop? Once they're able to determine that, it will be easy for them to add the play-based. So maybe moving forward, let's find out how we can, if it has not been covered already, we'll be grateful if you look at that area for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We will have another plenary after the panel discussion. It's all centered on the same thing, so if there are some concerns, please jot them down. Maybe at that time we will come in because of our time. Once we take an energizer, then we zoom into the next activity. So as our panel members are taking their seats, we welcome Madam Vero. Panel members, we want to have people, the mentors. Do we have the mentors here? We expect you, please join us here. Mentees or the interns, please join us upstage. To panel discussion on from the beneficiaries. We have Madam Mandi Baba Oshiga, a mentor, Zela Dokas, a mentor. We have Beatrice Latte, a student teacher. The moderator for this session will be our brother Foster Cephas. We have some STS coordinators. Commander, we have Holy Child. STS coordinator from Holy Child, are you here? Please join us upstage. Energize.
So, as director said, let's make the classroom KG classroom. Yes. So let's rise. I say pampana, then you respond pan. Pampana. Pampana. So we pick a partner. Pick a partner. We are going to do mental. Pick a partner. Right. So you listen to the instruction. You listen to the instruction. We are going to chant 3 times. I like maths. I like maths. I like maths. The third chant, we have how many fingers? 10. Draw any number. So partner A can draw 2 of the fingers. Partner B can draw 3. Then you calculate, add, and then we'll see the one who will be able to give the sum. Are we okay? So I like math. I like math. I like math. So let's see the one who is able to calculate and give the right. Are you okay? That was a trial, right? So we are going 3 times. Don't wait for anybody, but we are all starting, right? 3 times. So I like math. So the next round, yeah. 3 times. You want to see the winner. So you go 3 times. Papana! Alright, so we can use it to support the learners in their accounting. In addition, you can ask questions, the number that the hands that they drew, 3, 5, 6, the number that the partner drew, what did they do to get the sum? So they will tell you the strategy they developed to be able to draw the sum. Thank you very much.
We can do this with our children and grandchildren at home.
Thank you very much. So can I have the second mic with me? Okay.
Welcome to our first panel discussion on the experiences of teachers who are mentors and student teachers who are mentee in this conversation as far as STS is concerned. And we will also have someone who isn't a mentor or a mentee but a coordinator for STS also sharing his experiences as well. It is going to be a qualitative conversation. My name is Foster and I work with Sabre. I know our moderator mentioned the names of our say your name, and if you are a mentor, you may even share with us how long you have been mentoring student teachers as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Uncle Costa. Please, my name is Dr. Zila Amara. I'm a mentor, and I've mentored for 3 years. Thank you.
I'm Mandy Baba Moshiga. I'm a mentor, and I've mentored for 3 years. Thank you. My name is Richie Santi. I'm a mentor.
Thank you very much, panelists. And I am really excited, and I hope that we are going to have insightful conversations. Already, some of the qualitative information presented has indicated some of the things that we are going to have a discussion on in relation to STA. So we are going to have a conversation and hear from you your own experiences. Like Tony said, we need to hear from you, hear your own voices. What has been your experience like? So if I could have the microphone with Mandy and later maybe Lucas, you can take it. As a mentor, what has been your own experience as far as mentoring student teachers is concerned? Whether it is the weekly or the 1/3 that they stay with you, SCS is concerned. What has been your experience?
Okay, what I normally do is that when they come to my class, I do orientation with them. I educate them on the new curriculum, the step by step. And I also tell them that, hello, now we use play-based in teaching. So I will teach them and give them the lesson notes for them to study and to know what it is about. Then from there, we start.
Okay. If you can hand over the microphone to your brother.
I'm always happy when they come to the classroom because when they are around, it lessens my work. Not that I leave everything for them to do, but they help me. We discuss, as my colleague was saying, we go through the daily plan and everything that we do in the class. So we share roles, what I'm expected from them and what they should expect from me. So we sit down, go through everything. That helps me a lot. As we share the roles, they do theirs and I also do mine. Then we collaborate and help the children. So I like them coming to the classroom. And also, they help me a lot in preparing the lesson resources, the DLRs, because as Sabre, you bring a lot of templates. So they help us to color it and cut them and use sellotape to cover it for the date to be safe for the children to use. So they help me a lot.
Just a follow-up. The way you have described the role you play, I understand it to be more of those who are spending the one semester with you. Is that mentorship role different from those who come in, week out, and for them as well, what has been your experience like with them?
For them too, I do say when they come to the classroom, because it's not only a day that they come every week. So I know that if they are here today, next week definitely they will come. So I also sit down with them and explain everything to them, because even the lesson notes and the lesson delivery, some of them are surprised when they see you doing the outdoor and indoor activities. So I have to explain everything to them and tell them that if they don't understand anything that I'm doing, they should ask questions. They should tell me for me to explain to them. So I do say, talk to them, share ideas, because I always tell them that although you are here to observe, you have some role to play. You can't be sitting down and just looking at me and writing your notes, but you have to help me for me to also help you. So I also talk to them.
Thank you very much. Madam Abi, would you also say the one semester team mentorship role that you perform is different from those who come in week in and week out? How different is that role?
Well, those who come in weekly, because they come weekly, we don't have so much time with them. Sometimes they come twice in a week or once a week. So as for them, when they come, as my colleague said, they will just sit and observe. So once a while, they will come and help us with the group activities with the learners. So we guide them and we tell them what to do with the learners. So in a way, they also help us a lot.
Thank you very much. And now if I can have a microphone with our student teacher. Can you also share with us what your own experiences have been as far as the student teacher being mentored by your mentors is concerned? You can talk about your experience when you were doing the weekly visit and then also the one full semester or term visit.
Okay. Thank you for your question. For our internship, we went there and we were given, my mentor went through the daily activities with me, and it took more than a month for me to understand it clearly. And for the STS, daily, you just go there for a day then, unless the following week. So we weren't able to fit ourselves inside the school. But with this, we were there with them for 7 months, which we went through the outdoor activities, the indoor, and the games, and maybe registration time. So we know how everything is going within the day. We know we have circle time. Now it's registration. After that, circle time. Before circle time, it's phonics, then indoor activity. Then maybe on Fridays, we also get outdoor activities. That's play games and all those stuff.
Okay. And so would you say that spending more time with your mentors afforded the opportunity to learn more compared to maybe the weekly observation?
Yes, please. Because with my 7 months, I've been able to decode all my lesson notes. Even though it took me a long time to be able to understand and teach the learners, I was able to do that. Now I can teach the learners, I can read my lesson notes, understand it, and teach my learners and deliver my lesson clear without the help of my mentor.
Thank you very much. That's interesting to know. Mr. Baby, you are STS coordinator, and you get to interact with both the mentors and the student teachers as well. What has the experience been like for you as a coordinator?
Thank you. I think lead mentors are always happy to see their mentees in their classrooms. As my sister said, it lessens their work. At least they are around to give them support. But when it comes to the running of rotations, most often when you go around, mentors complain because some of them have not yet understood it well. But when the mentees are around, I think it's a relief to them because they have another hand to give them support.
Thank you very much. If I can have a microphone with our student teacher. You already started sharing with us some of the things you've learned. One is your understanding of how the KG lesson plan is prepared. You also understand the KG day as you try to present the KG timetable or daily schedule with us. Would you say that your mentorship, experience, the mentorship experience with your mentors have equipped you to be able to handle your own classroom once you are posted?
Yes, please, because it has really made me time conscious and tolerant. As at that time, I wasn't having that strength to shout, keep quiet, and all those stuff. But with me going into the class for that time, I'm able to be like, oh, keep quiet, stand at the corner. I just draw a circle for them to stand. They stand there for like 10 minutes. They come back and sit down. They'll be quiet. So I think it has really helped me a lot.
All right, so it's in how you can even manage the behavior of your children. You've learned some tips and strategies that you can employ to manage the behavior of your learners. Do you have any other things that you would like to share that you think, oh, I picked up this during my STS and I think it's going to make impact on my professional journey as a teacher?
Okay, I learned a lot. I'm able to use my creativity to also help my mentor in designing the TLRs and also in behavior, learning the behavior of some students, because behavior differs, they have different types of behavior. So with me being there, I'm able to know the kind of behavior each student has and how to address it.
Since we have our NACA rep here, she will also be interested to know, have your mentors been able to help you to understand the KG curriculum better? You started, I'm sure, at the university or the college, you were introduced to the curriculum. Now you came to the field and you worked with them for 7 months. Have they been able to help you to understand the curriculum well enough to now be posted, to now handle your own classroom?
Yes, please. Because when I came, I didn't know much of the KG curriculum. So if she starts teaching with her lesson notes, then she'll be like, mine will also be there, and she will just break it down for me. She will, maybe learners are to add up some or something. Then she'll just be like, I should help her organize this learner, organize this learners. So with that, I've been able to pick up from there.
Thank you very much. If I can have the microphone. So one of the things that was presented had to do with difficulties with aligning the lesson plans that is taught at the colleges or the universities and those that the in-service teachers are using. From your mentorship to both of you, have you come across that challenge and how have you been able to resolve it?
Yes, please. When they come to the classroom, I think the lesson note that they are taught at the universities are the lower primary one. So they don't know how to prepare the KG curriculum. So when they come to the class, if I finish with the daily plan, I sit them down with the curriculum, tell them that for KG we work with themes. We have 7 strands for the whole year, 3, 2, 2. So I tell them, we go through, so I tell them the strands that we are going to use for the maybe first term, the one that we will use for the second term, and the one that we will use for third term. Then I start showing them how to prepare the lesson note, using my own lesson note, taking it one after the other, the week. Maybe we are in the first week, I tell them, so week ending, you will write the Friday date, not maybe any day that you want, but the Friday. If it is, let's say this week Friday is 3rd May, so that's the date you will write. The subject, we don't do subject. So we teach them that it's integrated thing that we do. So I go through everything with them before I start teaching or before I start facilitating for her or him to observe and also start doing something.
Thank you very much, Madam Andy. Any addition?
Yes. As she said, that's what we do. When they come, we sit them down, we teach them the lesson notes. We educate them on how to go about it, the outdoor activities, how we rotate and everything. The materials we will take out. We a day before every day before a lesson, we discuss with them after school. So by the time we come in the morning, she'll go to the box and pack all the materials that we use for outdoor and the tabletop activities. She'll arrange everything on the tables. Then they really help us.
All right, thank you very much. If I can have the microphone with our student teacher. You mentioned that on going to the field, you learned how to prepare the lesson plan. Was that different from what you were taught at your college or the university? And how did your lecturers or supervisors take what your mentors are teaching you from what they had taught you at the college or the university?
Okay, with the KG lesson notes, it's very different because there are a lot of activities involved in it, but with what we are taught in school, it's just generalized ones. So it's when we got to the field, that was when we were able to learn the KG into details.
All right, and for your tutors or lecturers who supervise your lesson plan or lesson notes, have they raised concerns about the way you are writing it or not?
My supervisor told me I did well on writing the notes.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. If I can have the microphone, okay, please go ahead.
I have something to add to those who come for the observation too. Me, in my class, when you come, I go through with you the very first day you come. Because if you don't, you are in the class and you don't understand what you are coming to do in the class, I don't know the essence. So I go through with those who come for the observation the very first day they come to the class. I know that they have to also know it. So when you come to the class, I don't expect you to be just sitting down and observe me. It's only the level 100 that normally I allow them to maybe sit and observe whatever I'm doing. Even before they go and sit on their chairs, I explain everything with the daily plan and how to prepare the lesson notes before they go.
Thank you very much. Now, if for both of you, you can share with us what your challenges have been so far, as far as mentoring student teachers is concerned, whether something you have experienced or you are still experiencing and would like to share. And once you finish the challenges, if you have some thoughts on what you think can be done to resolve that challenge, please feel free to share with us.
Okay. When the first workshop I attended with Sabre, I was so happy. I thought it was so simple. But when I came to my class, I knew it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all because at that time I was having almost 50 learners in my class. And it was so difficult that my head has to come in and then advise me on certain things I have to do. Then later, as time goes on, I mastered in some of the activities. Even their books, I have to color the books at the back of the book according to their colors so that it will not mix. And then later I came to realize that Sabre education, in fact the training we had was very good and it was educative and it helped us. Now when you go to the...
As part of your mentorship role, do you encounter any challenges when you are mentoring them?
Yes, please. First, second, third week, it is also a challenge. It takes time for them to adapt to the new curriculum and what we do now. So, yes, we have challenges with them when they come in there.
Sorry to chime in. So that's basically their learning journey starts slowly because it's new to them and they now need to learn. Okay, thank you very much. Yes.
Also, we do have challenges with them. As Sabre was presenting, I think we all heard about some of them they are addressing. We know that teachers, we are mentors or we are role models. So when we are coming to the classroom, we need to dress decently. But some of them, when they are coming to the classroom, as if we don't even know where they are going. Because sometimes when I see them, I say, I ask myself, but me, if you dress anyhow when you come to my class, I will talk to you. Either you go home on that day or the next day, you dress properly and come to the classroom. So they are dressing. Two, some of them, they have communication barrier when they come to the classroom because of the community we are. And we know that at that level, we use L1. But some can't speak any language apart from maybe English and their own language. So they are not able to communicate with the children. And the children can't tell them anything. Even if they are saying it, they don't understand. So they will just be sitting down and looking at the children. So it's also a problem to us.
All right. I would let Mr. Bedu, who is the SCS coordinator, respond to the first part about their dressing. What do you think we can do to improve upon that? And then maybe I'll come back to the two of you also to share with us the language, issue about language. You have a student teacher who is unable to speak the language of your learners. How do you help that student teacher to be able to still learn and connect with the learners? Mr. Bede, please go ahead.
Thank you. I first want to sound that dressing isn't a challenge in all the schools or the colleges because for instance, we are still in uniform. Okay, so those who are going in their own uniform, they go with all kinds of dresses. But those who are still in uniform, in fact, you must be in the school in your uniform. You can't go to the school without your uniform. Most often, some head teachers will request, especially during sporting periods, that this person came without the uniform. You ask them to send them back to go and be in their uniform. Yes.
And would you say that cuts across all the colleges of education?
In fact, some of the colleges are in uniform, some are not in uniform. So it's a problem that shouldn't be generalized. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
To address it, I think that there can be restrictions. The colleges or the principals together with the STS coordinators can agree on the kind of dressing they can send to the schools. In fact, the level 400 are coming back for the second semester. This time they are staying at their own places and coming to campus. We thought of it and felt that they should be coming in their own uniforms, but we have given them restrictions. You can't wear anything. We have given them restrictions. If it's for dress, I learned we have some sleeveless, and there's a name. They can't wear that to school. In fact, your skirt should not be lower than your knee. So there are restrictions, and I think that all of us must ensure that they do. Some of them are using these dresses to spoil the names of some of the colleges. Most often, some people will call friends. I was born and bred in Tekradi, and I teach at Tekradi. I saw your student here. The dress that they are using is very bad, and sometimes you feel bad. So all of us must work hand in hand to ensure they do the right thing.
Thank you very much. Just before we move here, can you please respond to the issue about language barrier? You are a coordinator. You have a student who is from another region and doesn't speak Fanti in the Western region. What do you do, and what support system do you put in place for either the student teacher or the mentor to allow that person to also learn and communicate and engage with the learners?
Thank you. With my background from GS, usually what we do is that we have some ever communities where we send our students to. So we try to talk to every student we know so that they would go into those communities. But most of our students are, let me say, Fantis and Asantis. We try to put them around. Honestly, the English language itself is even a problem to some of them. So whatever we do, we have the problems, but we try to, yes, because when they are talking, when they bring their write-ups, you know the ends cannot meet. Sometimes you have to use it as a relief to, but whatever language it is, I think we have to encourage them so that they can get abreast with the local language in the community.
Thank you very much. If I can have the microphone with Dr. Semandi, do you also have some ideas on what you think can be done to help such student teachers, knowing that I think our postings now is still centralized and GES post teachers to where their services are needed. And so that's an issue that they would most likely face in another context as well. But as mentors, what do you also do in your own way to help that student teacher to learn as much as possible?
Okay, thank you. What I normally do is that I tell my mentees to engage the learners more, especially on break time, so that as they are on break, they are playing or eating, they will be with them, and they will be chatting with them, and they will be learning little fancy as they are speaking. Sometimes I even hear them speaking Ifutu with them. They will be asking, when they say ba, what does it mean? When you are saying go. So by the time that they will leave, they can have a little knowledge of our language and be speaking with them.
Thank you very much. Any addition?
I also encourage them that they shouldn't allow language to be a barrier between them and the children. They should get closer to the children. When we are doing activity and I know that he or she can't explain anything to the child, I explain everything and I let him or the activity that the children are doing. The children too knows what they are doing. So he or she is just there to help them or guide them to do the activity. And also, as my sister said, when it's break time, they should try and interact with the children. At least by the time the week ends, you will understand one or two vocabularies from them. So I do encourage them to interact with the children.
Thank you very much. If I can have the microphone with our student teacher, what has been your own challenges as well as a student teacher being mentored by your mentor during your STS?
Okay, same with the language barrier. I'm a Gan, and my chi isn't that okay. So I quite remember when I was in KG1, a student was like, Madam, me dance. So when the kid said that, I was just there. I just realized the kid was just like this before I saw that the kid wanted to urinate. So I told the kid to go out. So with that, they have this typical ones that we can't understand, like maybe the chi, even if I decode it, I wouldn't still understand. So my mentor would just be like, oh, say it in this way, say it in that way. Yes.
Thank you very much. If I can have the microphone with Mr. Brady. So I know we don't have enough time to delve into all the challenges, but you have been a GES officer before, you are now at the college and STS coordinator. What support system is available for either the student teacher or the teacher who may have challenges and would need your assistance? What support system do you have, either from the college or even from GES because you were an officer?
Thank you. So first of all, other colleges place the students and they have to look for their own accommodation. We have still arranged with the schools, so they offer accommodation to the student teachers. So they don't have problem with accommodation. But even before they go there, we have to go and inspect and make sure it's up to the standard we want before we do that. Then, as they go, we also assign them to a group to tutors, we call link tutors. So once in a while, the link tutor will go in. If there are concerns, whether in the community, at the school, or whatever, the link tutor will try to help them to resolve. Yeah. And apart from that, they are also available. So while they are not even with them, if they have any challenges concerning planning of lessons and lesson note writing, they give them support, even from the college distance.
Thank you very much. And for our last question, I would want to find out from all of you, first of all, your closing remarks, but also what, in your opinion, based on your experience, do you think we can do to improve STS as it is being done now? What can we do? What can be done to improve the STS practice?
Thank you very much. I think first, let me take the level 400 students, the intense. I think first we do it for a whole year, but now it's not even up to 2 terms. So I'm suggesting that we go back for the whole year internship for them to learn more, because now things have changed, and within the shortest period, I don't think they are able to learn all. So I think we should extend the internship period, that's for a year, as they were already doing it.
Thank you very much.
Same.
Same.
Yes.
All right, thank you. If I can have it with our student teacher.
Okay. For me, I think with we going to the field, we need to really understand the curriculum, the lesson notes very well, so that we are able to deliver our lessons.
Okay.
Thank you.
In this, we will also plead with the lecturers that time to time they should pay visit to us. They shouldn't wait till when they are coming to supervise the mentees. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Bedu.
Thank you. I want to elaborate on the point the first raised. In fact, the period for the STS is limited. I remember my first year, we could do only 1 round of supervision. My second year, we were on the second supervision when the strike came in, and then they resumed. They had to, there was sporting activities too. They resumed and they had to go back for vacation. So I'm pleading with our mentor universities, if they can do something about the period. In fact, because of that, we are even having challenges with some of the schools. Some schools that were taking our students don't want to take them, because when they go for accommodation, they have to rent the place for about 4 months. And some of them are no more. A school like Konfeku, they declined because they said no, they can't take them and rent a room for 4 months. And the landlords also don't want to rent for 4 months. They want to give for 1 year. So it means that the rest of the period, the room has to lie idle.
Thank you very much. Before you resume your seat, we will invite 1 or 2 questions from our audience. So, audience, if anyone has a question, maybe a panelist had made a comment, you would want a clarification or have a follow-up or have some explanation, please. We have 2 opportunities for your questions. Thank you. If we can have someone to pick up the microphone for us. Sister Elizabeth.
Thank you very much. First of all, I must commend you for your facilitation. You've done so well.
Thank you.
I think you need to give a round of applause. Excellent.
Thank you.
And your panel today have done very well. Panel members have done very well. And that gives us very little to talk about, because we have exhausted most of the things. But the first point I want to make is this. I think from the onset, we should have been able to clarify the background of the panelists. Yes. Because we have two scenarios. We have the colleges of education and we have the university. Because sometimes when they were talking like, when they were talking, I was just wondering. I said, no, this doesn't happen. They don't happen in the colleges of education. Then I was just wondering, their mentees or interns, where are they coming from? At a point, I was even wondering, the mentee there, where is she also coming from? For the SES coordinator, it was quite clear. You know, she was coming from a college of education. But the rest, it wasn't very clear. And having been a practitioner myself, I realized that we are singing from two different hymn books. You see, what we do in the colleges of education, I said we because I was. What we do in the colleges of education and what you people do in the universities, from the discussion, I realized they are very different. And that's why we need to clarify that from the word go. Because some of the things, like the curriculum issue that, are you coming from College of Education? You see? Because from the colleges of education, well, I've been on retirement for the past 4 years. But I don't think things have changed that much. Because from the college of education, we used to take the students through the curriculum. We used to take the students through the curriculum. The problem they talked about the different curriculum surfaced at the initial stages. We also had it. Straight away, we nipped it in the bud. And what we did was to take the curriculum being used at the schools to actually train our students. And even before they finish, even their TLMs, teaching learning resources, before they finish, they would have, every student uses that curriculum to prepare certain resource, teaching resource materials. So by the time they are ready to go out, to go and teach, you realize they have a portfolio of resources which aligns with the curriculum being used in the school. So we didn't have that problem. That is why I was quick to talk about the scenarios. So it's very, very clear. And like the TS coordinator also said, when it comes to posting, it's now I realize things are changing. But with Lion and Holy Child, we used to do, and even Commander, we do almost the same thing. All the colleges to be, in fact, we posted the students. And we take their background into consideration. I remember, this is on a lighter note. Once we took some students to some student, is it Fante or Tree, I've forgotten, to the opposite, place. And they were teaching fruits. It was a type of fruit or something in a class. And I remember, I think it was a Fante student who was posted to a tree speaking place. And I said, this is, you were friend Mpu, I was friend this, or friend that. So when they finished, it was at the Triple Society. When the teacher was describing the fruit without actually showing the fruit. So finally, when the fruit came, was I teacher was mama pa, So we realized that was a problem. And there was a supervisor there. So we took that very, very seriously. That we shouldn't take things for granted that Chi and Fanti, they are this. They are not. I think they are two different things. So we started posting them towards that direction. But the problem is, or was, I don't know. During posting time, student teachers are supposed to enlist the languages that they are comfortable with on the posting, so that they'll be posted to that terrain. Like, I think there was a question like, which local language are you comfortable or conversant with or something. So when they list, that's what they're supposed to be posted to. But of course, they don't always get what they want. And sometimes they'll be posted to the opposite device. So these are some of the things.
Thank you very much, sister.
So for once I've tried, let me leave it for this one.
I don't know if I can come in here with the issue of student placement like Sister rightly said, the dynamics are not the same with the colleges and the universities. They are not the same at all. When it comes to level 100 to level 300 students, then we can say we are on the same page with the colleges, because the university controls the placement of student teachers from level 100 to level 300 STS activities. However, with the issue of language, look at where we find ourselves. You have students coming from Upper West in the department. You have a student coming from Hohoi who cannot speak Twi nor Fanti, is in the department. So if you really want to place the students based on the language they can speak, where will you send that student? Within the municipality, we also don't post students to all the schools. We have schools that are in partnership with the institution. So you can only post students to only the partner schools. I think this works with the colleges as well. So
Yes, there's a hand up. If you want to sacrifice your...
Mine is just a quick one.
Okay.
Is it Mandy? Can you, 50 children, how do you manage after the training? What strategies have you been using to manage?
Now the number has reduced. But before, what I was doing was that during tabletop activities, I would divide them into two groups. Half of the class will go to the learning centers, and half will be on the tabletop activities. Then they will go out for break. When they come back to the classroom, the half which went to the learning centers will now come to the tabletop, and the others will go to the learning centers. So that is the way I was managing it. But now the number has reduced. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So
it means there is a way of managing large classes. Thank you.
Please, a quick one. I wanted to find out, are you the only teacher in the class? Yes.
Sister, you seem to be surprised. The whole municipality, I don't know, the CISOs are here. That is the challenge we are having. KG class with one teacher today is not feasible. So I think it is one communication this workshop or this conference should be sending out. No, nothing. You go around the classrooms, it's a serious challenge. And it is affecting the smooth implementation of the curriculum.
thank you very much. Let's take the last question. In fact, this is the last question indeed.
Thank you very much. I just want to say more about our university choosing. Like you have already said, the colleges and the universities are not on the same page when it comes to STS.
Yeah.
This university in particular started a year before the colleges. And when we started, there was nothing like STS handbook for us. So our first year students couldn't even start STS on the first year. Even we started the curriculum is at the second semester, not first semester. So first semester we're even running the old curriculum. So you can imagine that gap. And everywhere I go to, I always make this point. It appears stakeholders are not fair to either these universities or all the universities, because much of the attention has gone to the colleges of education. The teacher and other issues were concentrated on the colleges of education. We have to make efforts to fight hard for them to know that the universities are also running the same programs at the colleges of education. As we stand now, the basic education and early childhood, there are two departments running the new curriculum. In the school planning edition, and I'm happy that Madam Justina is around. When they go for timetable for their departments, they fight for slots. For early childhood in particular, they will have to let students each level go out a day in a week. If it so happens that all the allocations given to you fall on all those days, what do? It is not like the college of education. In the college of education, you can block the whole school for the whole level. In the university, you have to block only one department for a level. And here in the case, that day is the day that I have given you the allocations for the various venues. What do? So you see the struggle that our lecturers are going through, and I think that we are even doing marvelously well, and that's why we are here trying hard so that all stakeholders can help us push forward more than, so that we'll catch up with the college of education. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, and thank you to all of you for your questions, and special thanks to our panelists. Let's give our panelists fantastic clap. Fantastic
clap.
Again. One more time. All right, thank you so much, and thank you all for your questions, and hopefully we will continue to explore ways we can improve STS and improve teaching and learning, and ultimately learning outcome for our young learners. Thank you.
Yeah, before the panel step down, the issue of uniform and attire, the tutor from the college mentioned that that problem is not too intense in the colleges. But are you aware of the wearing of pencil? Do you have idea? You know, some of the ladies, because of the uniform, when they come in year one, sister is here, she will attest to this, what the college gives them as the uniform, by the time they get to about level 300 to 400, they outgrow the uniform. Some of them, that's right, some of them will deliberately go and alter the uniform, and it looks like, I can't describe it. The men will go and alter it, and they call it, they call it pencil. How are you addressing this? It's a concern you have to look at as a college, in the college system. So this one, no, it's just a take away. I don't need your response now because I don't know how you're going to respond to this over here.
Please, I think the colleges these days do not use uniforms. We have changed.
Some.
Yes.
Okay.
My college and St. Francis College in Kobe.
Yeah.
We are no longer.
But most of the colleges are still using uniform. So that concerns. But let's put the uniform issue, the pencil issue is not about the uniform only. Their wares. You want to keep an eye on that to help them to dress in a manner that our children can learn the right thing from them. Because one day I went to my English teacher when I was in the senior high school, those days secondary school. It's about raining. It wanted to rain. This is an English teacher we all respect a lot. The child runs to the father. Daddy, the rain is buying. The rain is buying. And the father says, no, we don't say the rain is buying. Say it wants to rain. This child said, no. When I go to school tomorrow, I'll ask my teacher. It tells you the level of confidence and trust they have for us as teachers, even than their parents. So let's help these student teachers to do the right thing so our children can learn from them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We'll get down.
So at this time, we are going for snack break. We have the next 15 minutes for our snack break. Please walk around, fraternize, exchange contacts, see what you can pick from somebody to go and implement in your school. The next 15 minutes. So we are back here. Okay, let's be back here 11:30. Let's be back here 11:30. Thank you very much.